All right. Caesar, definitely subject. Etsi, look at that comma helping me out. Although, right, so this is a concessive clause. Although, videbat, he videbated, that, which means that inside of our although clause, we have an indirect statement, accusative idem, infinitive fore, short for futurum esse, and double woe inside of our indirect statement. We have a relative clause, right? It's a clause inside a clause inside of a clause. Relative, indirect, concessive. And we can see it. Caesar, although he videbated that the same thing which on superioribus diebus acciderat had happened, fore would happen. And we just saw this recently. We saw that Caesar saw that the same thing had happened, would have. I don't remember which chapter it was. Or he knew that the thing which was going to happen would happen. Where was it? Well, it was somewhere. We talked about it. So, although he saw that the same thing which, blah, 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 fore, futurum esse, would happen, although that, ut, which is comma all by itself here, we're like, what's going on with ut? Hold off. The next thing we get is actually an if clause. Si essent, and it's a form of sum, so we're going to go to a nominative, hostes pulsi. And pulsi is actually pulsi essent. If the hostes were pulsied, right, imperfect, pluperfect passive subjunctive, if the hostes were pulsied, the ut now should stand out as, and I can't really bracket it, it's not easy, but I can underline it, that it's ut through a subjunctive verb. And so we are just going to translate this as that, okay? That, effugerant, because we can always do a that for an ut, that they would escape, verb, the periculum, object, celeritate, like by means of or because of their celeritate. Going back here, the hostes was the subject of this clause, and essent, pulsi, is its verb. Acciderat is the verb here. Fore is the verb of the indirect statement. Actually, quod is the subject of that relative clause, too. And idem is the subject of the indirect statement. Idem fore, idem quod, acciderat. Although he videbated this, if the hostes essent pulsi, that they would effugerant the periculum with their celeritate. Although, and actually, maybe this whole thing is an although clause. I'll put that as like a possibly. Because this next part starts with the tama. Nevertheless, this is what happened. And the nevertheless part of our sentence is continuing the main clause. Nevertheless, and instead of a verb, we get just a participle describing Caesar, right? Having obtained, circiter, triginta equites, relative clause describing those equites, quos comeus atrebas, dequo, relative clause describing him, and then finishing the main relative clause, which, comeus atrebas, secum transportaverat, and he's the subject, and transportaverat is the verb, and comeus atrebas gets this, about whom it was previously dictumed. Okay. So having obtained circiter triginta equites, we still need our verb, but first we get its object. Legiones in Achaea, pro castris, and then the verb that Caesar did. Here's the thing he did. Having noctust, he constituted the legiones in Achaea, pro castris. That's where. Commisso proilio, that looks like an ablative absolute, with the proilio having been commissoed, having been begun. Diutius nostrorum militant genitive impetum, that looks like an object. Hostes looks like a subject. Fere non potuerunt, good. The hostes were non potuerunt to fere the impetum, and genitives always go with the noun closest to them, so it's the impetum of nostrorum militum Diutius, for very long, okay? Or for too long. Will work for this comparative adverb, Diutius. They were not able, right? They non potuerunted, ac, and they terga where terunted. Terga, of course, object. Right, quos, object, probably. Tanto spatio secuti is a participle, right? having secutied quos, tanto spatio. Having followed, tanto spatio. And we've got, these are tricky, but we've got this tantum quantum correlative, like the first, it's like as much as. So your tantum quantum means as blank as. So like over tanto spatio, as potuerunt, as they were able to efficere with their cursu and their viribus. So having secutied, which is a nominative participle describing whoever our subject is. So it's not the subject, but I'm going to underline it in yellow, like I did with noctus up there. So having secutied them, or which guys, having followed these guys over tanto spatio as they potuerunt, and it's kind of like a main verb, but not quite. Complores ex iis occiderunt. There's our verb. They occiderunted, and then complores ex iis is the object. They occiderunted them. Deinde, with, we get omnibus longe lateque aedificiis incensis, and this is definitely an ablative absolute, with all of their aedificiis having been incensis, longe and late, se, object, in castra, re, ceperunt. They received themselves in castra, or returned to castra. So the enemies started some stuff back in 4.34, right, they dimiserunted, and they predicaverunted, and they demonstraverunted, and they venerunted to the Roman camp. And now in 4.35, Caesar, even though he saw this stuff, that if the hostes were pulsed, they would effugorent the periculum with claritate. Nevertheless, having obtained triginta equites, which comius atribas transportaverunted, Caesar did this. He constituted the legiones in acie pro castris. We're on the defense, right? Defense. Maybe there's a cheer for that. And with proilio having been commissoed, the hostes were not able to fere the impetum, right? And they terga where terunted. So it was a very short battle. Okay. And so now those guys are having followed those guys, so now we're on the offense, right? Because they ran away. So having followed them as far as potuerunt, this is the Romans doing the occiderunt. Right now the Romans are winning. Right now they're on the offensive, and the Romans occiderunted complores ex iis. And then after they did this, right after this was done, they receperunted in castra. So this is a good day, right? Call that a win. The last sentence, I don't know if it's on your page. This is the first sentence of 4.36. but it's included on the AP syllabus here with Book 5. Eodem die, look, it's a time word in the ablative case. So on eodem die, legati ab hostibus misi, participial phrase describing those legati, right, having been misied ab hostibus, ad Caesarem de pace, and our verb is venerunt, okay? That makes sense.